Shalom, Maspuka. I pray all is well with the righteous. This message is sentence to death. You see here, this electric chair, this is what they use when they put people to death, people that have committed heinous crimes. They have been to trial. They have been found guilty, and their punishment, the death penalty. And they execute them. Before the execution, they are sentenced to death. So the question is, are you on death row? This is death row. This is what we call death row. Are you on death row? We have people that has been sentenced to death, on death row, and don't even know it. This is a tragedy. For them to be sentenced to death and don't know it. Everyone that's sentenced to death, they know about it. They know they have been sentenced unto death. They know the crimes which they commit. But here are people we're going to speak about that has been sentenced to death and they don't even know it. This is a report that they have out. Don't know how true this is, but they're reporting there are 2,620 people on death row in the United States as of January the 1st, 2020. We know that's not correct. This isn't correct. There are more people on death row. All Americans are on death row. Let me just say it. All Americans are on death row. And many of them don't know it. Some of them know it. A very few of them. They know it. People that fled out of America and they went back to America, they know they on death row. They're just waiting for the execution date. And the Father has the execution ready to be carried out on the one that is to be executed. And they're just waiting on death row. You see here all these people. These are people sitting on death row that they know of. These are the people that they know of. They know they're on death row. And they have a scheduled execution waiting to be executed. See, this is where people stand today. You know, when people don't listen to the Father, they think he's playing. When he say come out of her, they make up excuses. They're going to be executed. Why? They're going against his order. They're going against what he set forth. They're going against his very own word. When he never goes against his own word, we're the ones that will go against the Most High's word. So these people know they will be executed. They know they're on death row. But what about the rest of the Americans? So you listen to this video, you in America, you have to let your friends and family know we on death row. Now, meaning's not going to believe it, but that's okay. The Father will make you out to, you will drop your head in shame. See, the people that was in Sodom and Gomorrah, they thought he was playing. Everyone that faced judgment, those men in the wilderness, Yasharal. Check it out. Yasharal, we've been talking about this thing. Yasharal got the Torah. They with Moshe. They got all his power flowing. The Most High working his power in and through them, all around them. And they still were cut off. Cut off. See, when you come out, that don't mean you made it. Many people think I came out. I'm within the borders. You've done nothing but taking the first step in the right direction. That's all you've done. There's a bigger step that must be taken. Jeremiah 50, 23 through 27. How the hammer of the whole earth. We know who this hammer is. She's hammering every nation. How the hammer of the whole earth has been cut apart. Broken. How Babylon has become a desolation among the nations. See, the Most High, he the one sentenced Babylon to death. Not Yahuwah's one channel. Don't get mad at me. It's amazing how people get mad at me when I quote scriptures. You see, you're not angry with me. You angry with the Father, and he's going to deal with you. It's amazing. Someone asks you a question or asks a question, you answer it with scripture coming from the mouth of the Father. And they say, you interpreted that wrong. You see it wrong. I don't see it that way. They telling the Father he's saying something incorrect. And that's not the way it's going to go down. You're not the Father. I have laid a snare for you. This is what the Father is saying. There has been a snare laid. See, the enemy laid a snare for us. We're trapped. In Babylon and the nations, we are trapped. In all the other nations, we have been captured, trapped. And now, there's another trap that's going to trap our enemies. You remember, after we served those 400 years, he will bring us out. And that nation whom we serve, he will judge. What's the judgment? Death sentence. For Babylon, it's the death sentence. She's been sentenced to death. And I know you may not have ever heard it this way, but this is fact. She's been sentenced to death. You have indeed been trapped, O Babylon. And you were not aware. See, I told you, our people are on death row, and they're not aware. Just like Babylon is not aware, they're not aware. And you have been found out. And you have been found and also caught. Found out came out of my mouth. Yes, the Most High found her out. She's been found and caught. See, when those people committed those crimes, they were found out and caught. Because you contended against Yahuwah. Here's our people contending against his word. They contend against him. And they think he's going to magically pick them up or gather them out of the land. Yahuwah has opened his armory and has brought out his weapons of indignation. For this is the work of Yahuwah. This is his work. We don't get this. This is no man's work. This is his work. He's going to use men. Make no mistake about it. Men can't do nothing without the Father. He's going to use men to carry out his work. He's going to use other nations to destroy Babylon. And he's going to help. See, he used Yasharal to destroy other nations. And he helped with his hosts. Yahuwah, mighty one of hosts, in the land of Chaldeans, come against her from the furthest border, the furthest point of her border, all the way to the sea, from one sea to the other sea. Open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps of ruins, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. This is a death sentence. Slay all her bulls. Anyone in her, there's a death sentence that has been carried, that's going to be carried out on that place and everyone in it. Let them go down to the slaughter. This is what our people don't want to hear. This is what camps don't want to hear. They want to stay in the streets. They want to stay in her and proclaim the word. He didn't say stay in her and proclaim the word. He said come out of her. See, they're trying to stay in her, and they're nothing but modern day Pharisees. Dress well, look nice, nice speech, got the Bible in their hand, got the scripture in their hand, quoting scriptures, praying long prayers, collecting money. You see, they're nothing but modern day Pharisees. Act like they got it all going on. And they're going against the Father, and the death sentence will come down upon them. Slay her bulls, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day has come, the time of their punishment. See, they're going to be punished. Their day has come. A sword is against, this is Jeremiah 50, 35 through 40. A sword is against the Chaldeans, says Yahuwah, against the inhabitants of Babylon, against her princes, her wise men. A sword is against the soothsayers. They will be fools. Listen to the words of the Father. A sword is against her mighty men, and they will be dismayed. A sword is against their horses, chariots, and against all the mixed people who are in her midst. Bingo. So if you are in her midst, notice this death sentence is against you. See, he said, come out of her, lest you not partake of her iniquities and of her plague. This death sentence will be carried out against you. You are on death row. Now you know it. You didn't know before. Now you know. It says, they will become like women. A sword is against her treasury, and they will be robbed. A drought is against her waters, and they will be dried up. For it is the land of carved image. You know how many carved images in her. For they are insane with their idols. Therefore the wild desert beast shall dwell there with the jackals, and the ostrich shall dwell in it. And it shall be inhabited no more forever. Because why? They all been sentenced to death. They're gone. They're wiped out, and no more will inhabit it. Nor shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Example, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. See, the Father used examples because we don't believe his word. So he needs to give us an example. Why do he need to give us an example? Our people are not going to get it. He's going to destroy a place. He's going to use that place later on for an example. Later on in the end days. And the people still won't get it. As he overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighbors. Look out, Canada. Look out, Mexico. Watch out. Watch yourself. You're in league with her. You're not safe in Canada. You're not safe in Mexico. As he overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighbors, says the Most High, so no one shall dwell. So no one shall reside there, nor a son of man dwell in it. Pay attention to the Father's word. Jeremiah 51:41-43. It says, how Babylon has become a desolate among nations. How did this happen? The seas has come over Babylon. She's covered with the multitude of her ways. Her cities are desolate, desolation, dry land, and a wilderness, a land where no one dwells, through which no son of man passes. You think the Father is playing? Jeremiah 51:58. Thus says Yahuwah, the walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire. See, the men today, they get executed by lethal injection. They used to be, they put in the chair, and now we had to, they put in them an electric chair. Now the Most High going to use fire. The people will labor in vain trying to put the fire out. The nations, because of the fire, they shall be weary. And we know Revelations 18:2-5. And I heard a mighty voice crying out, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. How many times Most High have to tell us this? It's become a dwelling place of demons, a dwelling place, prison, and full of every foul spirit, and a cage of unclean, hated bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share her iniquity, commit crimes, and lest you receive of her plague, death sentence. This is case closed. For her iniquities has reached Shamaim, and the Most High has remembered her iniquities. Also Revelation 18:8. Therefore her plagues will come in one day. Death. What? Death. She's been sentenced to death. Death and what? Mourning and famine. See? Famine and death among Gui. And she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahuwah who judges her. It's the Father that judges Babylon. You in her? Expect to be carried out. This death sentence. Don't expect anything righteous to come out of this. Expect to be carried out. Expect to go through your punishment, your judgment, which is death sentence. See, Babylon is sentenced to death, and everyone in her, you're sentenced to death also. Shalom.